Take 3. Let's see if I'm going to be successful this time. It's Mercury Retrograde. Everything will last more. So guys, it was my intention not to give you guidelines for, hey, you know, this is the general energy. But as I was shuffling and just trying to kind of really meditate on the cards and meditate on signs, well, 3 cards jumped out. So that clearly was to me a sign. I saw the sign. So we have Page of Pentacles, we have 8 of Cups, and we have Queen of Wands. So I'm not going to go in majority of the details other than telling you, well, that's really good news. Look at him. He has a map on the bottom. He kind of has a feeling where he wants to go and what he wants to accomplish. After all, this is a pentacle. And look at the tower where he is heading. He is also flipping a coin up in the air, so he is feeling lucky. Pentacle is basically omen of some maybe new financial future. And I know generally it's New Year that we make new resolutions, but this seems to me that November will actually push us in that direction. And in fact, more so with 8 of Cups, look at her, she's leaving. Does she look like that she's missing something? Nope. Nope. Look at this. All of these cups are nice and solid over here. In fact, one of them is still steaming. She just felt, there's something missing. There's a particular spice. There's something that I really want, and I really want to go in that direction. So this is going to be honoring that kind of thing. And then where we are heading, whoa, ladies, if you're a lady, you will be on freaking fire. You will be setting your affairs, you'll be putting things in order, organizing, doing. It's going to get busy. This is very unusual for the end of the year in Northern Hemisphere, because we go, oh my god, it's 4 o'clock and it's dark outside, or oh my god, it's 9 o'clock in the morning and it's dark outside. It's one of those really hard days to get through, but not this time around. If you're a Cat Tarot listener, you are going to be infused with energy. So Queen of Wands, if you're a guy, would mean that you're going to have a woman organizing you. Hey, just bend over, you might be slapped on your tushy. So no, I'm just kidding. Queen of Wands is a really good sign. It means we'll be willing to move further. So there were 3 cards. It was one after another, after another, jumping out. So what I really liked about that is that actually we do not have swords. Yes, I know I'm Aquarius, I'm a sword element, but we are going to do really okay without thinking too much, because analysis paralysis, maybe it lasted for a few months, but this means, hey, I know I have to do slow and steady. I maybe need to get a few more courses, but I'm getting there. I want to better myself, and then put all of things in motion. So before I start with your sign, let me just give you a really quick announcement, which is usually happening at this time of a year. And yes, this is that time of a year. I'm actually producing 3 times the material. So Mercury retrograde, 3 times the material. Well, what could go wrong? But if you guys are curious about the upcoming year, the fashion of the last 2 years, I'm going to do my annual taroscopes. I might shuffle things around a little bit. Generally, there is general info about the upcoming year in terms of numerology. We are entering a year number 4, but the most important thing, we are entering a completely new decade, right? So if you're curious about basically the upcoming year, if you have multiple plans that you want to implement in 2020, you're just not alone. So these predictions will help you a great deal. Of course, a personalized planning is also available, but this one here is now on pre-order. It is for $19.95 for one sign, and it is for $45 for all 12. So that way you can check your ascendant, you can check your moon sign, and yeah, you can just peek in somebody else's future for 2020. So take advantage of this price. So I'll be working on that during the month of November. Hopefully they'll be fully delivered by early December, and then the price will go up, significantly up. So guys, 2020 is very important year because it marks the beginning of that relationship between Jupiter and Saturn conjunction that initiates a 20-year cycle. Well, you know, if this is something that you really take seriously, if you really want to push forward and have this additional kind of like tricks in your pocket, this is the way to go. So just click on the link, or you can also visit me on social media where I'll be advertising this for the next month to come. So, shall we start? Hello Leo, welcome to your November read. And if you hear this drumming, that's basically the rain that we have in Toronto, but this is perfect time to read. So what do you have here? You have unrequited love, something maybe that you're dragging into this month, something maybe that could have been, didn't happen, you didn't want to happen, somebody didn't want to happen. Maybe there were some religious factors. To me, this is also a card of marriage. Maybe something, marriage that you didn't get, but this also could mean this way, marriage very soon. Something is really lining up. But this one is also saying, and I don't read all of them because some of them just make no sense, but this one does clearly decide what you want, so it comes to you now. So it's going to be a big month. So let's see what else do we have over here. Wow, 10 of Pentacles. There we go. There's like some kind of like lineup with beliefs. You see the difference between 10 of Cups, which is that exuberant love and celebration. I love him, I love her, I want the whole world. You remember Tom Cruise when he was jumping on Oprah's couch? That kind of like would be 10 of Cups. But this is kind of like Thanksgiving party. This is Christmas party. This is gathering with your family and knowing that somebody who walks in is going to fit right in. So right in the center of this reading, that's exciting omen over here. And that's crossed with King of Cups. There's like somebody with maybe earth or water sign over here. Very good news. Where is my little buddy over here? Find my little buddy. You know, this buddy can get angry and he can be really nasty. But not in your case. In your case, this is something that you're going to meet. Somebody who's like putty in your hands. Maybe you're going to meet somebody, that's kind of strange. You don't meet people on a family event. But there's like somebody coming through. And this guy is a married kind. Now look, he's really looking. He kind of like set his eyes on something. And he kind of like wants to go in this direction. There is like celebration going on over here. Look at those happy dolphins here in the background. Everything is really working out. Then we have the Tower. Well, interestingly enough, don't lull yourself that everything is going to work out and work out and work out. Things might get tricky. Things might get, hey, you know, I need to rebuild. I need to work from this point on. I need to go in a new direction, right? The Tower card is really talking about, it's actually good news, even though when it's happening, it feels, it sucks. So that's equivalent of sort of like Mercury Retrograde kind of here, which kind of tells you have to go back, you have to rebuild something, you have to reposition things. And this is foundation. You're possibly thinking about going in some direction and wondering maybe what hasn't happened and why it hasn't happened in the past. There's somebody appearing and you're saying to yourself, don't screw it up, kind of a thing, right? Three of Cups, there is some kind of celebration. To me, this is the ultimate friendship card. There is like a meeting of the friends. There is some kind of celebration that you have here in the background. But this also can be with tinge of jealousy over here. Maybe you are simply observing somebody who's going through that. But still, it's in a positive. Somehow, it kind of like really feels like there's like a good time to move on. This also could be gathering with a family of some sort. It's really interesting that the Tower showed up here. So I'll have to go and clarify this to see why we have that. And look at that, we have a Queen of Cups. oh boy, you know, like, I mean, you're a fire queen, right? And here's telling me that this could be some romance brewing, but this could be proposal, guys. This could be something really serious. Like, so we have both of the same suit. And usually you get cups where there's like something emotional. So a couple makes an emotional decision, but it's also that somehow family is involved in this. So I don't know, this can be for some of you birth of a child. It could be transfer of some sort, right? It's going to be really interesting because something might look too good to be true, to be honest with you. And you will be really worried because maybe in the past it was like a freaking disaster. But this time it's right. Look at this, the High Priestess. You might be calling Cat Tarot, cattarot.ca for a reading. You might be saying, I really need to figure out. Because look at it, Matrix is here, Matrix is doing runes. And actually, I was just looking at this, look at these cards. This is here, Two of Cups. There is like this gorgeous celebration over here. There's like something going on. It's almost like Safi. She's picking up the stuff. So there is like development of your intuitive side. You're like putting on not your thinking cap, your feeling cap. You will be emotion, but you will kind of like really say to yourself, does this sit well with me? How do I process this? In which direction do I really go over here? Again, this is a marriage vibe over here for some reason. You might be dealing with somebody who is highly spiritual. This is not necessarily religion, but I have religious factors here, so that can really talk about that. I think that around November 18th, which is Monday, so plus minus 2 days, when Mars enters Scorpio, there is going to be some kind of shift. Remember, Scorpio is a planet of death and rebirth, right? You also might be very busy around this time. You might be career oriented. Maybe somebody is going to load you up at work. This is really telling me that you need to pay attention. You need to be intuitive. Some people might feel that you're ignoring them, and it will be good for you to just communicate. Look, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just really busy at work, right? Because this is going to be really important development. Also, not to mention that when we are at it, that I see here as well, that full moon here that is really happening for you, right? And so it is the 12th of November. That's going to be, I believe, Hermit Mode for you. It's going to fall on Tuesday, and it's going to be really a good time to journal. Kind of like put your creative kind of cap on and go into Hermit Mode. Hermit Mode is not about being lonely. It's in fact, look, I need to process something. I need to really work with something. It's really weird because look at how much emotional input you have. And even the Tower is ruled with, well, this is Mars behind it, so that's where it's appearing. So something over here is going to hit you. This could be something going on around November 8th. So that's when Sun, which is in Scorpio, trines Neptune, right? And it's going to be something about imagination. Something is going to look really easy and kind of effortless. Two of Cups. You are in a love mode. You're like, love, love, love. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Like, I mean, this is right in every cell of your body. And there's like 2 and there is a 2. And then we have a 3. Like, oh my God, like what's going on? Some choices over here to make. You might be a little bit confused. And that's what I said. You might actually go to a tarot reader or astrologer. And you will kind of try to figure out and sort out the confusion. It almost looks like there are so many layers here for you that you really need to deal with, right? There is like some kind of like intensity about that, but at the same time, you don't want to be rushed. You almost like want to savor things. Look at that. There's like something. I really don't think you'll be sitting on close to the ocean or river, especially if you live in Toronto. It's cold and rainy. Ew. Look at that. It's Magician on the outside. You might be dealing with somebody. This could be Gemini, but this simply can refer back to, like, look at these new beginnings. There's like something new, like ones and twos. Maybe this is not still in the jump stage, but oh my God, it's really close to it. A Magician is, hey, I can do anything. It's kind of like maybe you're meeting somebody and there is like this energy, this can work, this can go all the way. Something is really, really good over here, right? So this also talks about Mercury retrograde. As you know, we are going through it. This is like October 31st today to November 20th. If you are an old soul, it might last a little bit longer, or it might start to manifest itself later in your life, so sort of like 40s and up, right? Because this clearly tells me that it could be some trouble or delay. Maybe you're planning something, it could be delayed, it kind of like can be affected. It could be some communication. Be very, very, very careful, guys. This comes with communication is going to be from the 1st to the 8th. And then, of course, to some extent to the 20th, when we get out of Mercury retrograde. Be very, very careful. You'll be very charming, but make sure that you read your texts, because you might be sending something that you really don't want to send. So yeah, it's going to be lots of messages. It's going to be almost like overwhelming good things. And here is 7 of Wands. So there is like some kind of alert. And since this is mirroring this 3 of Cups, and again, it's boiling down to family values. These are not only your values, they're like something at this stage. And you're like really family-centered sign. You're a kid-centered sign. Like the kids and the elderly. So just like as they're shown in the picture, everything matters, right? Even a dog to boot and a cat, right? So everything has to be satisfied. You are not compromising. And maybe that's what you're saying, like, I don't really need to visit somebody to see what is like lying underneath here. Something is too good to be true. Like, look at this. You have like this 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, pardon me, and 2 of Cups, and Queen of Cups and King of Cups. What can go wrong? I mean, it could be a water sign that you are meeting and it's going to be smooth sailing, and generally fire and water doesn't get along, but it doesn't matter. This might just simply be that emotional engagement, right? So unrequited love, there is like something that you're worried. There is like some kind of defensiveness. Maybe somebody wants you to compromise on something. So be very careful about that. If it's something that is your core belief, no. The answer is no. If it's not your core belief, then be open, because it looks like that you have worked very, very hard to get to this space, to kind of like win this kind of like turf, and then everybody wants it. Everybody feels, well, you know, you got it, I can do it. And don't let somebody take your crown, Leo. You are the king of the jungle, and it's really, really important to see. And Knight of Cups to boot. Oh my gosh, you guys. And on the bottom of the deck is temperance. So it can be literal that you're meeting somebody in a yoga class and things really work, but this card is about patience. And I mean, all of these water cards are about patience. It just could be somebody maybe coming in your life who's either water or air, and you are really alert. You want going forward. Check it out. Does this mean something to you? This is like Knight of Hearts. This is like the knight in the shining armor. I mean, if I really wanted to have this reading any better, I wouldn't be able to. I mean, tiger. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk. I think this is the last reading for tonight. The Tower is saying that the universe, God, is not letting you through unless you are true to yourself. And we can see it here. Something that has happened, something that was out of balance, needs to be in balance. Temperance means the stars need to line up, meaning sometimes we meet people, they are perfect, we think about them. That's why we have Mercury retrograde telling you, okay, get this closure, get that closure. We think about them all the freaking time whenever we're going through that kind of like phase, because they're like still something. It was something that we had to learn from that person, right? But this is really talking about, look, you need to shake something off. You need to get something off your chest. You shouldn't compromise on some values, like, because these two cards are connecting. There's like something that you're bringing to the situation which maybe you're keeping as a secret, and maybe, you know, there's like, you're not ready to go full blast over here. I think this person that you will meet is ready. It's kind of like step, kind of like floor the pedal, kind of like step on the gas, let's keep going. I don't even know what to clarify, but I will these two sevens, because this again links to your religious factors. It links to meeting of the minds. It says your life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path, and we see it here. Family values, family values, family values. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you meet someone who doesn't pass that litmus test, it's going to be bye-bye. You are not going to even blink or think about this person, because it looks like you've been through something. But if you meet somebody who is gentle soul, it almost looks like the gentleness is going to be the most important factor. This person, they have big heart. They have this listening ability. They are just not judgmental, right? This is not to say they haven't been hurt, but they are dealing with that differently. They don't snap and attack, which most of us have been in that situation. Maybe they're getting into the calmest mode. I mean, like, you have this moon ability, so the moon is going to be November 12th over here, and something might happen for you around 2 o'clock on the 12th. Something that is going to kind of like jog your intuition, or as I said, it could be also plus minus 2 days that's happening. So let's see a few clarifications for my Leo. You know, when everything smoothly sails, where I don't see many pitfalls, when I don't see kind of like holes that you can fall in, like, I mean, this almost looks like a fairy tale, guys. And I don't believe in fairy tales. I can't believe I'm saying this. I mean, this card I should probably just put in there, like, for you to see. It's unbelievable. Okay, so let's see the Tower. Let's see unrequited love. Looks like somebody who was in it for money. Somebody's fishing, and something came unexpectedly. I don't know if you can see it here. Look, he has money. He was looking for fish. It was something surprising. Something took you by surprise. And I also want to see that High Priestess. Let's see the Seven of Wands, because the rest of it is self-explanatory. So with the Tower, we see Scholar. Well, maybe it was like School of the Hard Knocks. It was like some education. Like, this card to me talks about counseling, talks about other people getting involved. Like, you couldn't rebuild possibly things yourself. Maybe certain things were getting, you know, out of hand, right? So we see here this older gentleman in yellow tights with a huge oversized book, right? So we immediately are getting this idea that there is like somebody who is like well educated, there's an expert or wise counselor or professor of some sort, right? So I really think this turbulence that you had in your life has to go through the stages, because also the High Priestess is going through the wisdom. Oh my gosh, can you hear this rain, guys? It's really picking up. It's actually really calming, and it's kind of like really channeling stuff. So this is somebody who has a status, who has a culture, who is wise, and also somebody who is discreet. So again, very much like this king, there's like somebody who is really calm. So it looks like even though it was a fire at some point, and like when it's fire you have to run from a situation, almost looks like it was like some freaking explosion. This is talking about that you just didn't run away from it. You went and analyzed and tried to figure out what the hell had happened. Could have been crisis in a relationship, could have been a third party over here, right? And it could be that you needed to restore your own harmony. Maybe somebody just took you for granted over here, and that came as a really shock to you. So here on High Priestess you have Thief. Well, Very, very good news because it is reversed, right? Thief upstairs, upright is not a necessarily great thing, right? It talks about loss, right? Or cheating, or maybe this is some buttons that you still have that you don't want to go through deception or betrayal, some kind of like deceit maybe that has been happening, right? Because this is really interesting. You have 2, 3, 5, 7, and then 10. So kind of like back and forth, kind of like a thing. 2 steps back, 2 steps forward. There's like some kind of indecision. So when this card reverses, it's still kind of like a negative, but you know, the event is over. This is really talking about something has happened already. Now you're simply dealing with the effect of dishonest actions. Whatever it was, theft, robbery, cheating, something has left that mark, right? Somebody took something of a value. Maybe you feel there is like a little missing piece of you that is kind of like lost, right? Maybe there is like, a lack of confidence in proceeding forward, and that would make sense. You know, I have this reading, like, many people say, can you check this guy out? Can you check this woman out? It's sort of like you just check them out and you immediately know. You might believe it, you might not believe it. Better if you believe it, because everything is being like unearthed, and I did so many of these readings that I can really tell what's happening over there. So this is associated with really positive cards. So it's really telling me that you might just fall into this I need to defend myself of some sort. Ooh, I don't know, maybe somebody's want to get something really, really quick. The room card to me is always about hanky-panky, and you know, that full moon is going to be very sexy, and that November 18th Mars enters Scorpio is going to be very sexy too. So this is generally some kind of like intimacy. Maybe you're hesitant in jumping into something really, really deep, right? So it's kind of like really interesting because this is also about introspection, and I told you that November 12th is going to be your time to put things kind of like in perspective, right? So when this reverses, it's basically saying something like a world is turned upside down, and that can be a whole bunch of things, from you know, good things to confusion or loss of perspective. This simply can be impulsive, and that's why I told you it kind of looks like that somebody's going to push your buttons over here. Not that necessarily things are happening, but you are being reserved on some level over here. So this is kind of like really interesting because it might feel that there is some kind of disorder, but you are going to go right back on your feet, right? Because this is like that intimacy. It's something about communication. So I think it goes back to just be very careful what you're texting, because it's going to cost you if something wrong is being sent. So that's very, very important. And also making an educated decision over things is also going to be important. So Leo, don't forget to check your ascendant and check your moon sign. Like, Leo is my moon sign, so I'm so glad this is showing up. It's awesome. And I'm like overly careful when it comes to me. But if you are not getting private reading, it's always good to get private reading in addition to this. If you're serious about guidance, at least get the annual taroscopes. They're like about an hour and a half, and you have a leg up. Whole year long you have a leg up. This month, I'll have obstacles here, so let me focus on this, so then I'll put it on the back burner. So to seal the reading, I pulled one more card for you, so I'm going to read that for you. And it's coming to life. And look at this, it's 29. It's that like beautiful 11 energy. It's almost, look, the statue is coming alive. So it says, when you look at your life, can you see how you've grown and evolved over time? Perhaps you have shed skins and identities and created new ones, or at the very least matured in your ideas about yourself and the world you inhabit. You know things take time, and Spirit's timetable is rarely in sync with your own. This card indicates that the long-held dream is beginning to show signs of life. You must try not to coax it along or shape it according to your own desires. Spirit knows the best form for the manifestation of this dream, and your life can become even better than you could possibly imagine. Now it is the time for reverence and awe. Allow the contours of your path to be carved by the hands of the divine. All you have to do is show up. So Leo, show up. It's a good reminder for Cat, right? So hey, if you're sitting at home and if you stay in that bathtub on this November 12th because you're going to be in that mode, this might not happen. Don't spend too much time analyzing. There is something emotional that has to go forward. So you are maybe hesitant. Maybe you feel you're not healed. Maybe you want to stay where you are like in your comfort zone. You must get out. You must mingle. This is going to be really miracles. So don't be afraid to take risks, right? It's going to lead you to something wonderful, guys. And you know that I love you. Just order one of my annual scopes and you will know where this is going to take you. This might really, really, really lead to marriage, guys. I love you. All the best.